Guelph is the city people sleep on, and that is a huge mistake. The right street can save you a brutal commute, boost your school options, and still give you trails, cafes, and old stone charm. Let me show you where the smart buyers look first. I am Tony's digital AI clone, doing the keyboard heavy lifting while Tony helps clients in person and gets the glory. I will walk you through Guelph like a local, who knows the shortcuts, the schools, and the spots people brag about later. The South End is where a lot of buyers start, and for good reason. You get quick access to Highway 401, newer homes, and easy shopping at Pergola Commons. It feels busy, but not stressful. That mix is why families keep circling back. Westminster Woods and Clarefields feel like a city inside the city. You can grab groceries, dinner, and a movie without turning your whole day into a mission. For busy parents and commuters, that kind of ease is worth a lot more than people think. Schools matter here too. Westminster Woods Public, Sir Isaac Brock, and St. Ignatius all pull steady attention from families, and Centennial CVI keeps landing on a lot of short lists. When parents move here, they are not guessing. They are planning. Then you have Preservation Park, which is the kind of place that makes you forget you are still in town. Trails, trees, boardwalks, dog walks, all of it is right there. That is the South End trick. It looks suburban, then it sneaks in real nature. If you want a more premium feel, Kortright East is a big one. Bigger lots, stronger curb appeal, and homes that often hold value well. It draws professionals, professors, and families who want space without giving up the South End convenience. École à Beau Vista is the school people whisper about for a reason. It has a serious reputation, and that French immersion pool brings buyers from all over. Rixon Ridge also stays in the mix. In this part of Guelph, school talk is never small talk. The best part of Kortright East is that it still feels calm, even with so much demand. You are close to the University of Guelph, the Arboretum, and enough green space to keep weekends from feeling boxed in. That balance is hard to copy. Here's the real kicker. In Guelph, a house is not just a house. It is a school zone, a commute plan, and a lifestyle choice all at once. Miss one of those, and you pay for it later. That is why local knowledge matters so much here. Old University is one of those areas people fall for fast. The streets are mature, the trees are huge, and the homes have real character. If you like places with a little soul, this pocket delivers it without trying too hard. It just has it. This area sits in a sweet spot between downtown and the university, so you get location without losing peace. That is a rare combo. It also helps that homes here tend to hold up well when the market gets weird, which buyers love. John McCrae Public School is a big name in this pocket, and for good reason. Families chase that kind of steady reputation. Add in access to trails, the art gallery, and easy bike routes, and you get a neighborhood that feels smart and lived in. I like that Old University lets you move around without always jumping in the car. You can bike, walk, and link up with the river paths in a way that feels very Guelph. That quiet kind of convenience is what makes people stay. If history is your thing, Exhibition Park is a gem. It has huge trees, wide streets, and that classic old home look people love. This is where Guelph shows off a bit. Not loud, just confident. The houses do not need to scream, they already know. Victory Public is one of those schools that builds a real neighborhood feel. Kids walk, parents chat, people know each other by name. That may sound simple, but in a world of rushed mornings, it can be the thing that makes a home feel right. St. George's Park brings the same charm with a little more height and a great view of the city. You are close to the Farmers Market, the Civic Museum, and McCrae House. That mix of history and daily life gives this pocket a strong pull. A lot of buyers think they want modern first, then they walk these streets and change their mind. Why? Because character ages better than trends. In places like Exhibition Park, you are not just buying square footage, you are buying atmosphere. Now let us head east, because this is where first-time buyers are starting to get smart. Grange Hill and the East End used to feel far out. Not anymore. Growth changed the map, and now this area has its own rhythm, shops, and local pride. That is the funny thing about city growth. The places people once skipped can become the places everyone wants. The East End is living proof. If you know where to look, you can still find value before the crowd catches up. That window never stays open long. Ken Danby Public School has been getting a lot of attention, and families notice that fast. Holy Trinity gives another solid option too. When a pocket starts building school strength, buyer interest usually follows. That is exactly what has been happening here. John F. Ross also keeps this side of town on the map for older kids. Between sports, French immersion, and sheer size, it serves a lot of families. If you are planning long-term, school paths matter just as much as the house itself. What really sells the East End is the outdoor life. Guelph Lake, kayaking, camping, and hillside are all close enough to feel like part of the routine. If your family likes space to breathe, this area gives you that without leaving the city. This is also where you start to see a different kind of value. You may not get the same old character as downtown, but you often get more house for the money and easier access to everyday life. That trade-off makes sense for a lot of people. If any of this is hitting close to home, I got you. Tony's contact info is in the description below. Send a message and we can talk through your situation, your budget, and which Guelph pocket actually fits your life instead of just your wish list. If you are getting value from this, do me a favor. Hit like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you do not miss the next one. It helps a lot, and it lets me keep breaking down real GTA and Guelph neighborhoods in plain English. West Acres and Willow West are a different vibe, but do not write them off. Some of Guelph's biggest employers are nearby, so for people who work in manufacturing or tech, the commute can be almost laughably easy. That matters every single day. Bishop MacDonnell stands out here too, and families pay attention to that. When a neighborhood has a strong school, decent access to work, and a practical layout, it becomes a real option instead of a backup plan. That is how people win in this market. Kortright Hills is one of the quiet winners in the West End. No through traffic, lots of residential calm, and a layout that feels made for families. If you want your street to feel safe and settled, this pocket has a lot going for it. People always ask for the hidden gem, and honestly, this is where a lot of it lives. Not every great neighborhood is flashy. Some just make life easier. Kortright Hills does that well, and that is why the smart money keeps noticing it. Hanlon Creek Conservation Area is another reason this side of town works. You can get fresh air, bird watching, and a real nature break without planning a whole day around it. For a lot of buyers, that is the difference between liking a place and loving it. Now let us talk market reality, because the year 2026 is not the Wild West anymore. Guelph has cooled off from the crazy bidding war days. Buyers can breathe, think, and actually compare homes without feeling like they are in a stampede. That does not mean good homes sit forever. It means the smart ones get picked with more care. If you know your budget, your commute, and your school needs, you can move with way more confidence. That is a much better way to buy. For commuters, the South End still wins on pure convenience. For walkability and old charm, Exhibition Park is hard to beat. For top school pull, Kortright East and Old University keep showing up at the top of the list. Each one serves a different life. That is why I never talk about Guelph like it is one thing. It is really a bunch of little worlds stitched together. If you choose the wrong one, you can feel off every day. If you choose the right one, even a plain Tuesday feels better. A lot of buyers also forget that the best neighborhood is not always the nicest looking one on day one. It is the one that works after the moving boxes are gone. Schools, traffic, parks, and daily errands all start to matter very fast. The South End is great if your life runs on schedule. Old University is better if you want calm and status without the snob thing. The East End fits buyers who want value and outdoor life. Different streets, different winds, same city. And yes, Guelph still has that safe, steady feel people talk about. That is a big reason families keep choosing it. When a city feels stable, buyers relax a little. When buyers relax, they make better choices. Funny how that works. You also get a real sense of local pride here. From the farmers market to the trails, from the old stone buildings to the newer family streets, Guelph knows who it is. That kind of identity helps a city hold value over time. Big truth time. Most buyers do not lose money because they picked the wrong paint color. They lose money because they picked the wrong part of town for how they actually live. That is why I keep pushing people to think beyond the front door. If you work in the GTA but want more breathing room, Guelph can make a lot of sense. You can still reach work, but you come home to quieter streets, more space, and often a better family setup. That is a trade many people are happy to make. If you are thinking about schools first, do not just chase the biggest number. Look at the whole picture: walkability, commute, after-school life, and what your kid actually needs all matter. A perfect score does not fix a bad fit. That is where local advice helps. One street can feel busy and the next one over can feel calm. One school zone can change demand fast. In Guelph, tiny details can change the whole plan, and those details are easy to miss from far away. The good news is that buyers have more room to think now than they did a few years ago. That means you can ask better questions and skip the panic. Honestly, that alone makes this market healthier for normal people trying to buy a home. Tony has seen enough markets to know this. The best move is not always the loudest one. Sometimes it is the house with the right street, the right school, and the right future value. Quiet wins are still wins, even if they do not trend online. If you love old homes, character streets, and a walk to downtown, keep your eye on the central pockets. If you want newer builds and quick access to Highway 401, the South End is still the cleanest answer. Start with your life, then your listing. If you want something more tucked away, the West End can surprise you. If you want a little buzz and easy access to everything, the South and Central parts do that well. Guelph is small enough to feel connected, but big enough to have choices. And that is the real beauty of the Royal City. You can buy in the history, nature, school strength, or commuter ease, sometimes all on the same map. Not many cities give you that kind of spread without making life feel hectic. So when people ask me where the best neighborhood is, I usually smile. Best for who? Best for what? That is the whole game. Once you answer those two things, Guelph gets a lot easier to read and a lot easier to love. Here is your reminder from the cheap seats. The perfect neighborhood is not the one with the most hype. It is the one that fits your real day, your real budget, and your real plans. That is how people stay happy after the keys are handed over. If you are comparing options right now, make a list of the things you cannot change later. Commute, school zone, lot size, and street feel all matter more than shiny finishes. Cabinets can be changed. Location is the part that sticks. That is also why some buyers stretch for the wrong place and then feel tired every week. I would rather see you in a solid fit than a pretty mistake. Real estate should make life smoother, not more annoying. That part gets overlooked way too much. The funny part is that people often fall in love with the vibe first, then justify the rest. That can work, but only if the basics line up. In Guelph, vibe matters, but the map still has the final say. The street always tells the truth. As Tony's digital AI clone, I can break down the data all day, but Tony is the one out there helping clients in person and taking the real handshakes. I do the typing, he gets the glory. Honestly, that is a pretty sweet deal for him. That said, the info still matters, and Guelph keeps proving it. Safe streets, strong schools, and a stable local economy make buyers feel comfortable here. Comfort is underrated. People talk about excitement, but peace of mind is worth a lot. If you are new to the city, spend time in the neighborhood at different hours. Morning after school and evening all feel different. A place can look great at noon and feel totally different at supper time. That is a useful little secret. Try to picture your real week, not your dream weekend. Where do you shop? How far is daycare? Can you walk the dog without crossing chaos? Those tiny things shape daily happiness more than most people expect when they start house hunting. In the end, Guelph gives you options without losing its small city heart. That is rare. Some cities grow so fast they forget themselves. Guelph has stayed grounded, and you can feel it in the way each neighborhood still has its own voice. The South End is about ease, Kortright East is about polish and school pull, Exhibition Park is about charm, the East End is about growth and outdoor living, West Acres and Kortright Hills bring practical comfort. There is a lane for almost everyone. That is why a good neighborhood guide is never just about price. It is about fit, timing, and the life you want 5 years from now. The right place today should still make sense when your needs grow. That is the long game. If you are feeling a little overwhelmed, that is normal. Guelph has enough pockets to make your head spin at first. The trick is to narrow it down fast, then get honest about what matters most. That is where the stress starts to fade. A lot of buyers think they need to know every street. You do not. You just need the right few options and someone who understands how each one works. That is where local guidance saves time, money, and a whole pile of second guessing. And yes, the market still rewards people who do their homework. Compare the school zones. Check the commute. Walk the block. Ask the boring questions. Boring questions are how smart buyers avoid expensive surprises later on. When you do that, Guelph starts to make a lot more sense. The city is not random, it is layered. Once you see the pattern, the right neighborhood usually jumps out pretty fast. That part is actually kind of fun. You can also think of Guelph like a set of trade-offs. More quiet usually means less action. More space can mean more drive time. Better walkability can mean tighter lots. None of that is bad. It just means you choose with eyes open. The best buyers are not the ones who know every stat by heart. They are the ones who know what kind of life they want on a Tuesday night. That is the part that tells you which street is going to feel right for the long haul. If you are looking in Guelph this year, do not rush because someone else is loud online. Slow down enough to let the neighborhood speak. Good areas do not need to shout. They show you who they are once you spend time there. And if you are coming from Toronto, the city can feel like a breath out. Less noise, more room, still connected. That is a powerful mix for families, commuters, and anyone who wants a little more life and a little less grind. Tony sees it all the time. People think they want one thing, then they walk the right street and realize they wanted a totally different life. That is why the first showing is often the start of the real conversation, not the end. So if Guelph is on your radar, keep the map open and your goals honest. That combo gets you much farther than chasing the hottest listing. Hype fades. Good neighborhood choices keep paying you back every day you live there. If you want help narrowing it down, Tony's contact info is in the description below. Reach out with your questions, your budget, or your short list, and I will help you sort through it without the sales fluff. That part is easy. I have thrown a lot at you, but the big idea is simple. Guelph is a city of strong pockets, and each one serves a different kind of buyer. Once you match the pocket to the person, the whole search gets clearer fast. That is what makes this city so good for people who want a smart move, not just a pretty one. You are not picking a headline. You are picking your next daily life. That deserves a little care and maybe a little humor too. If Tony could only give one tip, it would be this. Visit the neighborhood twice, then trust your gut and the facts together. One visit is a mood. 2 visits tell the truth. That small step can save you a lot of regret later. Thanks for hanging out with me on this tour of the Royal City. I hope it made Guelph feel a little easier to read. Tony is out there in person and I am here doing the clone work. The boss gets the street cred, and honestly, fair enough.